Hey, what's up everyone? This is Rakesh from motionstreet.com and welcome back to another brand new and exciting tutorial of After Effects. In today's video, we are going to create a very interesting cinematic swirly kind of animation without using any third-party plugins. These kind of amazing animation gives you the ability to create absolutely stunning presentations and trailers to your project. Even if you are new to After Effects, you can still grab the concept very easily. So now, let's take a look on the preview. The animation that you just saw may look a bit complex at the beginning, but trust me, this is super easy and very interesting to create because we'll be applying a bunch of effects to achieve this kind of animation. So now, let's quickly roll the intro and let's get started. Alright, here we are in After Effects, and as always we'll start by creating a new composition, and let's call this as render, and let's go with the dimension of 1920 by 1080, which is full HD with 30 fps and 10 seconds long with the background color is complete black. Now hit OK. Then we'll create a new one. Let's call this as scene underscore 01, right? With the same settings, hit OK, and again let's create a new composition and we'll call this as fractal clouds. Hit OK. Then we'll simply do a right click anywhere in this timeline, go to new, and we'll click on solid, and we'll also call this as fractals, right? Hit OK, and then head straight into the effects and presets tab. And if you don't see this tab on the screen, you can always go to the window and make sure this effects and presets is checked, right? And now we'll search in for effect which is called fractal noise. Just drag this effect onto the top of the layer and we'll simply move into the settings of fractal noise and change this fractal type to dynamic and noise type to spline, and we'll also invert this up and we'll increase the contrast amount to, let's go with 362, and we'll bring down the brightness to, let's go with -25. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll simply hold Alt or the Option key on the keyboard and click on this stopwatch of evolution, and we'll quickly write an expression which is time times 200, so that we can have this moving animation, as you can see, right? And now what we'll do is we'll go to this transform, we'll unlink this uniform scaling, and then we'll increase this height to, let's go with maybe 163. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll quickly go to this offset turbulence, and we'll make sure to stay at the very beginning and then drop a keyframe on the offset turbulence, and then move all the way to 10 seconds, and we'll simply move this down something like this. Okay, and now if we see, we have a very simple moving animation, as you can see, right? Now what we can do is, in order to make it more interesting, we'll quickly do a right click and we'll create one more solid, and let's call this as ramp. Okay, hit OK, and then we'll search for a gradient ramp. Just drag this gradient ramp, where is it, this effect, onto the top of the ramp, and then swap the colors, and also we'll set this mode to linear burn. Okay, and the purpose of using this gradient was only to hide some portion of the fractal cloud that we have created, right? And fractal noise is one of my favorite effects because we can achieve a number of different animations using it. Okay, so now let's quickly go to this composition and we'll create one more composition, and let's call this as fractal clouds warp. Hit OK, and then we'll place it beside this composition, and we'll go to this project window and quickly drag this fractal clouds into the composition, and we'll simply do a right click again, go to new, and we'll add an adjustment layer, and let's call this as warp. Hit OK, and on this layer we'll simply apply a polar coordinate. So just drag this effect onto the top of it, and we'll also apply one more effect, which is CC radial fast blur. Just drag this effect into the effects window, and then we'll again add one more effect, and it is CC vector blur. So just drag this into the effects window like this, and then we'll simply change this interpolation amount all the way to 100 like this, and then we'll make sure we have set this rect to polar, and then we'll quickly go to this settings of radial fast blur and increase this amount to, let's go with 52, just a touch, and then in this one we'll simply increase this amount to, let's go with 11 like this. Okay, and now we have a very smoky kind of animation, as we can see, and it seems like we are messing up with our own animation, but trust me, we are going to achieve it in the next few minutes, right? So now let's quickly go to the scene 1 and do a right click, go to new, and we'll create one more solid, and let's call this as BG for background. Hit OK, and then we'll move into this project window and drag this fractal clouds warp into the timeline, and we'll also go to edit and we'll duplicate the layer. Okay, and again do a right click, and this time we will add an adjustment layer, and let's call this as, hit enter to rename it, and let's call this as, maybe we can call it as distortion. Okay, and on this we'll apply a transform effect onto this. So search for a transform, just drag this effect onto the top of distortion, and then we'll search for an optics compensation, drag this into the effects window again, search for a twirl, drag it again, and search for a CC lens, drag this, and finally we'll again add an optics compensation like this. And in the settings of optics, this optics compensation will quickly increase the field of view to, let's go with 20, and we'll also click on this reverse lens distortion and optimal pixels, right? And in the settings of twirl, we'll increase this angle to, let's go with 190, and with the twirl radius I'll go with 26. And in the settings of CC lens, we'll increase the size to 100, and we'll bring down the convergence to, let's go with 84, maybe make it 85. And in this optics compensation, we'll quickly increase the field of view to, let's go with 91, and also click on these two check boxes as well. And in order to give a nice color to our smokes, we can use a CC toner. So just drag this onto the fractal clouds, and again on this layer as well, and we'll quickly pick up a nice mid-tone color as red. Hit OK, and for this one we'll use a hex code which is FF0066, or maybe it was 6600FF. Hit OK, and then we'll quickly hold shift on the keyboard and we'll set this mode to screen, and then select this layer, hit R to see the rotation, and increase the rotation to 180 degrees, right? And now if we see the preview, we'll have a very swirly kind of animation, and this is looking really awesome, isn't it? But I think we can still increase the amount of smoke a little bit, because we still have a plenty of dark area in our scene, right? So what we can do is we can jump into this fractal clouds, and first of all we'll decrease down the scaling to, let's go with 50%, and then select this effect, gradient ramp, and just drag this point somewhere down here, and we can now see that the smokes are now getting much intense, and this is looking much better, right? So now let's quickly create a new solid, and let's call this as circle. Hit OK, and then from the effects and presets we'll apply a circle. Just drag this effect onto the top of it, and then let's quickly change the color to black. Okay, and then increase the radius to, let's go with 150, and we'll open up this feather settings and increase the feather to, let's go with 50, I think, right? And now I think we can still increase the intensity of smoke a bit more. So let's quickly just drag this somewhere here, and now we'll get something like this. And now if you see the preview, but something doesn't look right to me. I think we have to place this point somewhere at the center like this so that we can have a more beautiful effect. Yeah, this is what we were going for, right? And this is looking much better now. So now if you see the preview, it's going to look something like this. And this is what we wanted, right? So now let's quickly add a new adjustment layer, hit enter to rename it, and let's call this as shine. And on this layer we'll apply a CC radial fast blur. Just drag this into the effects window, and we won't be changing this amount, which is 50. And then we'll also add one more effect, which is a curves. Just drag this into the effects window, and then we'll move this point somewhere here so that we can have a little bit of darkness. And then we'll place this layer right above this fractal clouds, right? And then again create a new adjustment layer, hit enter, and let's call this as defocus. And on this we'll apply a camera lens blur. Just drag this into the effects window and make sure to stay at the very beginning, and then we'll increase this amount to 50, drop a keyframe, and then go to around 1 second, and we'll bring this down to 0. And then we'll again create a new solid, and let's call this as vignette, hit OK, and then we'll grab this pen tool and we'll turn on the startle action safe, and we'll try to make a shape of diamond so that we can make a mask on this layer. And then hold Alt or the Option key and click on these 4 points, which will convert the straight lines into a curves, right? And then hit S to see the scaling, and then we'll scale this up just a little bit like this. And then hit F to see the feather, and then make sure to click on this inverted, and then increase this feather amount to very high like this. And now we can turn off the startle action save, and then we'll add an adjustment layer again, and let's call this as glow, because we're going to apply a glow onto this. So search for a glow in effects and presets. Just drag this into this effects window, and we'll quickly increase this threshold amount to, let's go with 100%, and for the radius we'll go with 43, and for the intensity we'll bring this to 0.7. And then go to this edit, make sure you have selected this effect, and then go to edit and click on duplicate, and we'll decrease down this glow threshold to 15, and we'll crank up this radius value to 600, and we'll go with a value of 0.3 for intensity, right? And in order to see the glow effect very properly, we have to go to this project window, and we need to change this bits per channel. So hold Alt or the Option on the keyboard and click on this and set this to 32 bits per channel, and there we go. The glow is now looking really cool, isn't it? So after this we'll select this defocus layer, hit U to see the keyframe, select this one, do a right click, go to keyframe assistant, and we'll ease it. Okay, and after this we'll again create a new adjustment layer, and let's call this as curves. Okay, and we'll bring this at the very top of it, and then we'll add a curves as the name suggests. Just drag this on top of it, and there you go. And let's quickly select this blue channel and make a curve like this, and then again select this red channel and we'll again make a curve so that we can have a bit more enhanced glow, right? And after this we'll select this RGB channel and make a curve in the opposite direction so that we can also have a bit of darkness in the scene. Okay, and after doing this, what we can do is we can create a new composition for our text. So let's quickly name this as text with the same settings, hit OK, and then let's quickly grab this text tool and let's type in anything you want. So I'm typing cinematic voxel animation, right? And by the way, I'm using this Gilroy font, which is a free font available on the internet, or you can also download it from the link in the description, right? And then let's quickly select this cinematic text, and we'll increase the font size a bit, like this. Okay, and we'll then select this voxel animation, and we'll go with a lighter version of the font, and we'll also decrease the font size to something like this. Okay, and we'll also pull this a little bit down like this. Okay, and after this what we'll do is we'll simply align this into the center. Okay, I don't have the align tab, so we can go to this window and click on this align, and now let's align this into the center. Okay, and now in order to snap this anchor point into the center of the text, what we can do is we can hold Control or Command on the keyboard and double click on this pan behind tool, and the anchor point will be automatically snapped into the center. Okay, and then we'll quickly click on this arrow and we'll go to animate, and we'll first of all enable this per character 3D, and then we'll add an opacity and also one rotation. Okay, and then we'll first of all open up this range selector one, and let's decrease down this opacity to 0, drop a keyframe on the offset and go to around 2 seconds, and again increase the offset back to 100%. Okay, and then we'll go to this advanced section and we'll turn on this randomize order, and we'll also set a random seed of 25, and after this we'll move into this animated 2, and first of all we'll set this Y rotation to 90 degree, and then we'll open up this range selector and then make sure to stay at the very beginning, and then we'll decrease the offset all the way to minus 100%, drop a keyframe, go to 2 seconds, and then increase back to 100%. Okay, and after this we'll switch into this advanced section and we'll set this shape to ramp up, and also we will turn on this randomized order on. Okay, and after this we'll again add one more effect, which is a blur, and we'll set a blur of 25. Okay, and after this we'll scroll to the very top, and then we'll also initiate this motion blur, and we'll also toggle switches modes, and then click on this little box which will enable this motion blur on this layer. Okay, and then we'll have a very simple yet beautiful animation. Okay, and this is looking fine. So now let's quickly move into this project window and we'll jump into the scene 1 as well, and let's drag this text composition into the timeline, and we'll just place this right above this vignette layer. Okay, and now if we see, okay, we'll also set this resolution to full, and now we'll have a glow effect on our text as well. Okay, so now after this what we'll do is we will add a little bit of details into the animation. So for this we'll be importing some overlays. So go to this file, go to import, click on file, and let's quickly select these two, hit open, and then we'll select this flare and drag this into the timeline, and we'll place between the text and the glow layer, and we'll quickly set this mode to screen, and also we'll place the flare between the text like this using arrow key. Okay, and this is the sweet spot, and then hit S to see the scaling properties, unlink this, and we'll set this value of X to 337, and for the value of Y we'll go with 25. Okay, and then again select this layer, and we'll grab the ellipse tool, and let's quickly make a mask something like this, and then hit F to see the feather, and let's increase the feather amount. Let's go with 80, right? And now what we can do is we can add a tint onto the flare. So search for a tint effect, just drag this on top of it, and we'll change this white color to, I think we can go with a little bit of sky blue. Yeah, I think this looks good. Hit OK, and we'll again go back to this project window, and this time we'll drag this particle footage into the timeline like this, and then again set this mode to screen, drag the tint effect again onto this layer, and we'll quickly pick up this color picker, and this time we'll grab any color from this composition, right? So I think we can select this purple color from here, I guess. Yeah, this looks good, and then hit OK, and after this we'll select this text layer, and we're going to place this text to, let's go with 1 second and 10 frames, or maybe we can just simply, yeah, 1 second and 10 frames looks good. And let's quickly displace this somewhere here. Okay, and I think we can also increase the size of the circle, so we'll quickly increase the radius to 200. Okay, and one more thing we can do is we can add, I think we, the color that we have applied onto this flare is way too much, so I think we can go with an off-white color like this. Hit OK, and we'll again go to this effects and presets tab, and we'll search for a gradient ramp, and this time we'll drag this effect onto the top of the text layer. Okay, and we'll select this gradient ramp effect and quickly drag this point near to the text and this one as well, and let's swap the colors. Okay, and for the start color we'll pick up a nice sky blue color from here, which is a kind of off-white. Okay, click on OK, and then we'll select this end color as well by using this color picker. So select this color like this, and we'll change this to a bit darker like this, and we'll also move this point very close to the text and this one as well. Okay, and now we were supposed to place this flare to 1 second and 10 frame, not this text layer. Okay, so let's quickly put this back at the very beginning, and now I think we are almost done. So now it's time to see the preview. And yes, I think we're almost there, but it seems like we need to make our text animation a bit smooth, right? So we'll quickly jump into this text comp and quickly delete this animator 1 and 2, go to animate, and we will add a position, and then we'll add a rotation and also one opacity. Okay, then we'll open up this range selector, and then quickly we'll decrease the opacity down to 0 like this, and then we'll go to this Y rotation and set this value to 90 degree, and then we'll drop a keyframe on the offset and also decrease it all the way to -100%, and then move to around 2 seconds and quickly increase it back to 100% like this. And also we'll open up this advanced section and change this shape to ramp up, and we'll set the ease high value to, let's go with 19, and ease low value to, let's go with 83. And we'll also turn on this randomized order, and now if we see, we'll have a very smooth, I think we forgot to set this position, Z position, to, let's go with 400. Okay, and now if we see the preview, it's gonna look something like this, and yeah, this is pretty smooth, right? This is perfect. So now we'll quickly go back to this scene 1, and we'll see that the animation has already applied. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll quickly select this text layer. I think we need to put this, place this point somewhere down here, and I think we're almost done. So it's time to see the final preview. Okay, and yes, here we are with our first swirly animation. And now suppose if we want to create one more scene like this, what we all have to do is to go to this project window, select the scene 1 and text layer, and quickly duplicate it, and we'll also open up in the timeline like this. And then first of all jump into the scene 2, select the fractal cloud layer, and then we'll change the color to something orange, hit OK, and then we'll select this one, and we'll pick up again a sky blue color like this, and we'll also jump into this text 2, select this text and move the time indicator, and then we'll write built with. Okay, make sure to turn on the caps lock, built with After Effects. We'll type in the place of voxel animation, we'll type After Effects. Okay, and we'll again go back to the scene 2, open up the project window, and also hold Alt or the Option key on the keyboard, and we'll quickly replace this text layer in the timeline with text 2 like this. And yes, there we go, the text would be reflecting automatically, right? And now if we want to change the color of the flare and the particles, we can simply go to this effects control. Well, quickly pick up this color picker and select this sky blue color like this, and also will change the color of flare. So like this, hit OK, and now we'll quickly jump back to this render comp and open up the project window, select scene 1 and scene 2, drop in the timeline, and also we'll place this to, let's go with around maybe 5 or 6 seconds, yeah. And we'll also go to this composition setting and increase the time to, let's go with 20 seconds, okay. And now it's time to see the final preview, right? And I think we can, okay, I have to move this one here, and the scene 1 will appear later on in the time, right? So now if we drag this, yeah, now it's time to see the final preview, so we can see what we have made in the span of last 20 minutes or so, right? And yes, we have achieved the desired result, and this is looking really awesome and beautiful, isn't it? And if you want, you can still play around with the settings or add some more details in it. It's all up to you, because After Effects is the other name of creativity, right? So yeah, that's a wrap up for today guys, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed learning the idea behind creating this colorful swirly animation. And if you really did, then make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and also press the bell icon so that you always get notified whenever a new video is up on the channel. And if you are searching a template for a project, then do visit our website and download the template that suits you the best. Lastly, don't forget to follow me as Motion Street on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep dreaming, keep creating. Peace out.